want to talk about how sometimes just because a load is paying really, really well doesn't always mean that's the best load to take.
Yeah, just a couple weeks ago, we turned down a load that paid us $9 a mile, or would have paid us $9 a mile. So we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of explain our process, but this isn't always going to work for everybody. This is just our experience and what we've kind of done, and it's something you're going to have to come out here and learn about and kind of try to figure out on your own what works best for you.
Right.
We're sharing our experience. We've been doing this for a few years, and we've kind of grown accustomed to the kind of runs that we like to run. The run we turned down, it was, and it's funny, we were delivering there.
Yeah.
We were delivering to the place the load was picking up.
Yeah.
And it was going, it was a 180-mile run.
It was a short run.
It was a short run. Would have paid us like $1,300.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a horrible run. It's just something we don't like to do.
In our experience in the past, we have accepted short runs like that, and then we've missed out on a longer run we could have done.
Right. 10 minutes later, they call with a better run, and we're like, crap, if we would have just turned that one down.
Yeah, and that doesn't always happen. One of the main things in our experience, we've encountered, okay, yeah, sure, it's 100 and some miles. It'll take you a few hours to do, and you're done with it, which doesn't always happen. 9 times out of 10, that one short run's gonna take a whole day or longer, depending when it picks up and can deliver.
Yep.
And just because it's paying a really good rate, you may have missed out on a run that's longer miles, maybe not as high a dollar amount per mile, but overall it's going to be higher gross, right? And it just seems like a lot of times those short runs, and not always, I mean, we've done short runs and they've gone really smooth.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you can do a bunch of short runs out here and make really good money and stuff. Mm-hmm. What we've found though, that for us, is that it's more work. You know, it's just more work. You got to do more pickups. You got to do more deliveries. You got to do more paperwork. You got to send across more paperwork to get paid on. You got, you know, it's just a whole bunch more work. We don't mind doing it, but we found that if we hold out a little bit longer and turn those short ones down, probably about 70% of the time we end up getting something better.
Yeah.
It's just how it works for us. I got a lot of friends out here who will go ahead and jump all over that load. They'll go ahead and jump on that load and take it, and sure, they're making good money and stuff, but at the end of the week, you know, I think that we're inching ahead a little bit more just because we're holding out sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Plus, we're a team. We want team miles. We want team runs. Of course, that isn't always the case. Some people just want to run. Where, like in our last info video, we told you we want to work less and make more.
Right.
That's our whole motto of being out here and what we want to do. And a lot of people out here want to do.
Right. We want to run team miles. I would rather run 2 loads a week that pay really good versus 5-6 loads a week that pay really good. That's just what I would prefer doing.
And that's a lot of the reason why we always encourage people that have never been out here and done this to drive for an owner at first.
Right.
Because driving for an owner, you're going to gain the experience, because this comes with experience. Everybody's different.
Everybody will be different.
But driving for an owner, you're not putting out a bunch of money to buy a vehicle and then trying to learn as you go. You're basically taking a chance on somebody else's vehicle, and a good owner is going to help you along the way.
Right.
And guide you to what loads to take, what are good, what are bad. And also in our experience, we find a lot of times the shorter runs do pay more per mile.
They pay more per mile, but the grosses just aren't there for us. You know, you have to do a lot of them to make a bunch of money. Our experience has been, by just go ahead and turning down that one shorter load, we usually, like I said, 70% of the time get the kind of load we want.
Right.
Now, if a company could keep you busy running 6 loads every week, paying good rate per mile, that's good, but it just doesn't fall that way a lot of times. And just like this load, that $9 a mile, we turned it down, and we turned it down while we were on our way to the drop-off. The next day, we seen a load coming across that paid us, it was like 3-something a mile. So
almost $4 a mile.
Almost $4 a mile.
For 1,000 miles.
For 1,000 miles. So, you know, by turning that one load down, we got something even better that suits our needs and what we like to do. Now, we know a lot of people who run the tail off those little shorty ones. If
Oh,
they
yeah.
can get enough of them, they have no problem running them. But just because it says $9 a mile doesn't mean it's going to be that great, awesome run.
Yeah.
Our experience has been.
Yeah, it's usually problems, like problem after problem with it, and
Right.
it's not as quickly done as you think it's going to be.
We did one out in California one time. Some of you may have remembered, but we picked up. It was a 80-mile run. It paid us. It was like $1,200. Really good rate, but it turned into an absolute nightmare because when we got to the pickup, they said, "Oh, we don't think you're going to make it to the drop-off in time to drop it off. Can you come back tomorrow?" So we had to wait a day to pick it up. Then when we were there at the pickup, it still wasn't ready, and we had to wait about 4 or 5 hours even to get the pickup, which ended up us leaving out of there at the same time the day before that we got there. Ended up getting it delivered. It took us 2 whole days to do. It was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not what we like to do,
Yeah. So even though it was a good rate, it just wasn't worth it for our time and the headache that we had to deal with.
Right.
But that's not every load. There are some short loads, like I said, they go really smooth. They're done and over with. And we've learned too that if it's something we've done before, a place we've picked up or delivered to, we kind of know the situation there. Are they going to take a long time to load us?
Right.
Is it, are they quick about it?
Now, there are certain times we will take those loads, and that's if the agent that calling us to ask us to do it, we work with a lot. If it's somebody that gets us a lot of good loads a lot of times, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes to keep that business relationship beneficial for both. So
another reason we take those loads sometimes is because there may be a long run that came across that we're nowhere near, but then we see a short load come across taking us closer to that longer one. We would grab that short one to get to the longer one so we could get both of those loads.
Or if that short one's going to closer to a customer we know that ships out a lot.
Right.
Sometimes I'll take a load out of LA going up to Sacramento just because I know there's a customer up there. 9 times out of 10, we're going to get really good paying load out of them. $3-something a mile, if not $4. Sometimes you'll use those loads to reposition yourself, and that's the whole thing. Like Heather said earlier, that's why you want to drive for a fleet owner first. If you've never done expediting and you want to come buy a truck and then just go ahead and get out at it, it's going to be extremely difficult for you. And that's why you want to drive for an owner. And we drove for a fleet owner for 4 years.
4 years.
That gave us a lot of practice.
It did. And we had a good fleet owner.
And we're still not perfect at this. There's lots of times where we make the wrong decision, turn down the wrong load, accept the wrong load, accept one that's okay, puts us in a decent area, but then 10 minutes later we miss out on that banger, load that pays really good. So
we, like Jay said, we're still learning. We learn every day. We don't know everything. This is just our experience of so far of what we've experienced.
And that's what you have to do. If you come out here and think you got it all figured out and just this being your stubborn ways and this is how it's going to work and this is how you're going to do things, you're leaving money on the table sometimes. I have to put my stubbornness in check sometimes and really think about that dollar. Think about that reposition that load can do for us. Think about how is it going to work out for us,
And sometimes he has to put me in check because there'll be a load and he's like, well, we should, like the other day.
Yeah.
We delivered and we were taking the weekend off and a load came across we could have done, but the money didn't work out, but I really didn't want to do it. I wanted the weekend off, and but he's like, well, look, it's gonna make us this much more money for the week, and just things like that. Or maybe there's a load going in an area or a place I don't like, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. But then we talk about it, and he's got to be like, but we're gonna make this good money, and we'll get something else. So
she gets mad at me a lot of times. Like, I'll go ahead and accept a load, and she's just like so mad. Why did you take that one? And
but then after I process it. And I'm like, okay, that's a good move for us, But I mean, and that's one of the things getting out here too with a husband and wife or any teammate. You're gonna have issues with accepting loads, and maybe one person doesn't want to, the other one does, and you got to work that out. But that's on a whole nother subject.
Yeah. That's why you want to drive for a fleet owner. There's a huge learning curve in this business to maximize the profitability. You know, it's funny, people come up to us all the time and say, can you even make any money in that truck? We wouldn't be doing it if we couldn't. You know,
Right.
it's how do you make that money in that truck?
Right.
That's the question that so many people fail to ask. I always say there's no stupid question, there's just the wrong question. You know, you got to figure out the right questions to ask to make them the most money you can in a truck like an Expediter truck. And I'm sure this applies to tractor trailers somewhat too.
We just wanted to share kind of our experience and how we handle accepting loads based on the pay, the miles, things like that. Just because we do it one way doesn't mean it's the right way or the right way for somebody else. Another driver may come to you and be like, I did it this way and this is how it should be done, or it worked for me this way.
Right. We're not saying this is how it should be done.
No, not
We're
at all.
just sharing our experience of what has worked for us, and we strongly encourage everybody to get multiple opinions and options and learn from multiple people, not just take what we say. We're far from know-it-alls, you know. We don't try to be. We hope we don't come across that way. This is what worked for us. These are the problems we have out on the road. This is some of the things you may encounter. It's up to you to ultimately to make the final decision of what's going to work best for you.
And one thing to keep in mind is just because you say accept a load and it didn't work out the way you planned it to, it doesn't mean it was the wrong decision.
Right.
Just learn from that experience and go on.
Right.
Don't dwell on it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Learn from that experience and move on to the next load, because you're out here to make money. You're not out here to dwell on the decisions that you think you made or
how somebody screwed you over, and you know, just learn from it. The minute you stop learning from it is when you start going down. You know, you got to keep learning from it.
Yeah.
Even us after 6 years, going on our 7th year, you know.
We're still amateurs. I mean, we haven't been out here near the amount of time some people have. And there's some people that have been out here way longer than us that aren't doing as good as us. So it's a learning experience, and that's why we wanted to share it with you guys, especially for those of you thinking about getting out here, or those of you that are new out here.
Maybe give you a different perspective, a way to think about it. Yeah,
absolutely. So we hope this video helped. Thank you guys, as always, for watching and subscribing.
Until our next video.
Peace, love, and expediting. Wait. Oh, God.
Fat boy sitting on the table almost tipped the table over.
Oh, my God.